Excitement level. I mean, this is a fresh new start. We just talked with Mr. Sherman and Mike.
I think so, Todd. Todd, I really believe that. I mean, it's been an interesting off season. We've obviously had a managerial change. We've had ownership change, and so it's been challenging in some ways as we've tried to maneuver through all aspects of the organization and educating and everybody and getting everybody to understand the importance of just doing their job and not trying to feel like they have to prove their worth to a new owner, to a new manager. Just do your job. Do what you're paid to do, and you have a proven track record. We have excellent people here that have their decisions, their judgment has all been validated. They've won at the highest level, and but we're really thrilled. I feel like that we have a strong arsenal of arms here that can really improve our pitching staff, especially the back end. I like the potential matchups there, and then of course our position players I believe are really, really good and talented and continue to get better. But I think the most important thing to understand is this group is very hungry, and they feel like they have something to prove. There's an edge about them in this camp that I like a great deal, one that I haven't sensed in a few years, and so we're ready to go.
Not many guys that have more than 4 or 5 years experience in the major leagues, but the guys you do have that's on that roster are taking a bigger leadership role, do you feel?
I feel like that's the case. Of course, I can't say enough about Alex Gordon. Alex is entering his 14th year in professional baseball, all with the same organization. Very rare in today's game, and so when you have guys like Gordo and Salvador Perez and Whit Merrifield leading at different levels obviously different phases of their career, but they're leading at different levels within the clubhouse. I think it makes for a strong, cohesive group. Truthfully, and so I'm looking forward to that. But like I said, we've got a lot of guys with a lot to prove, and they want to be better. And Mike laid it out today, really clear in the clubhouse today. His directive was strong. His challenges to the players, I think, were very good and well thought out, and so we're looking forward to spring training, and we'll leave camp obviously with 26 players, but we want to leave with the right 26 that are going to compete from the first day to the last day.
You mentioned new manager and new owner. You've been around Mike, but getting a chance to get in sync with John Sherman, what was that like? And philosophically, did you guys have to find some common grounds? Are you far apart, close?
No, you know what? The one thing that we both know is we love the Kansas City Royals, and we understand and appreciate the value of a major league team in this community, especially the Royals, and what it means to the fabric of our community. And so when you have that commonality, the rest of it's really, really easy. And we talk on a daily basis about the direction, about players. Of course, I've gotten to know John, much better this past year, but known him in the past and know several members of our ownership group. And sure, and I really believe it's a competitive advantage for the Kansas City Royals to have this ownership group all with Kansas City ties or live here in Kansas City. It makes it extra special. And I mean, from living in our community what our sports team means to all of us. And this group has a great appreciation for that.
Going off that hometown kind of feel, watching the Chiefs win the Super Bowl, having the parade in Kansas City, does it add any extra motivation going into this season to try and get the Royals back in that same spot?
Of course it does. I mean, because I just know, look, when you play and you compete in the playoffs and you play in the World Series, there's nothing that is substitute for that. I mean, that's all you want to do is get back on that stage. And so when you watch what the Chiefs were able to accomplish this year, I mean, it brings back great memories. It fuels that fire and creates that passion and that excitement. It's just a different level of intensity, and you all experience that as well. Those of you that were here in 2014 and 15, you experienced that with what a World Series means to a community. But what it does is it just reminds you of how special it is to be able to compete on that stage.
The last 3 years, you've signed a lot of players in spring training. Do you see that happening again, free agents?
Well, I don't think so. I mean, there may be a player or two that comes along that fits, what we're looking to do. Of course, a lot of that is predicated on the general health of the players in camp. And of course, the first day, everybody's feeling good and ready to go. But we know where to go if we need to add a player or two. I mean, we've got all the evaluations are completed, and we continue to talk to several agents around the game that represent players. And if we need to make an adjustment or two, we'll be prepared.
Dayton, I know you said before where you're not going to put pressure on the young pitchers Brady and Jackson and Ryan, but what you've seen the past week, what do you see from these games? And I don't know if you put a timeline.
Well, we won't put limitations on them, that's for sure. I mean, but I think, Lynn, the important thing to recognize and understand is these players have a body of work from 2019. We make evaluations based on that body of work, and then we make projections on where they'll begin in 2020. And so you don't want to be fooled in spring training. You don't want to necessarily make evaluations in spring training. But look, all those pitchers will have their day in the major leagues, and the arsenal of pitches that they currently possess are good enough to get major league hitters out right now as we sit here today. But what we don't know is how they're going to adjust to certain failures that will happen at the major league level, the mental part of it, if you will. So we'll monitor that every single day. We'll evaluate certainly how they deal with the day-to-day aspects of being in major league camp for the first time. But if they're ready, I mean, we won't hesitate. I'm not saying it'll happen after spring training or during spring training once we break camp, but it could happen pretty early if they force our hand. So
Can we let him watch practice now?
Thanks,
Yeah.
Okay.